Hello, welcome back. As I said, we're going to talk about food shopping now. So there's lots of elements to food shopping which can make it really difficult. We have already touched on some things in earlier sessions about making cooking easier that can also make food shopping easier. For example, using meal delivery services means that you won't have to shop for as much food and you can focus on the things that you need to go to the supermarket for. Also, using meal plans might mean that you can use a sort of baseline shopping list that you can repeat every week or every other week and not have to start from scratch every time. So there's some things we've already talked about, but there are elements that are particular to food shopping that can make it difficult. So one of these is the physical effort of walking around a shop, picking up things, leaning into a trolley, standing in a queue, carrying bags, which can put a lot of toll on the body, especially if you're generally not able to be very physically active. So options to reduce this might be having shopping delivered to you or doing online ordering, click and collect. That has the additional bonus, as well as reducing physical effort, of spreading the cognitive load over a bigger period of time. So you may be able to start doing an online ordering process, saving what's in your trolley and then adding to it a bit later. It also means you've got more flexibility in when you can complete that task. So you might be able to do the cognitive component of the shopping list at a different time to the physical part of picking up the shopping, which can make it easier. If you do need to go to the supermarket physically, you can use a trolley as a walking support. Even if you're just getting a few things, it might be helpful just to have a trolley to lean on. Or if you're going to a larger supermarket or doing a longer shop, you might be able to borrow a mobility scooter there if you struggle particularly with walking and picking things up. It helps before you go to have a clear list and clear aims for what you're trying to pick up so that you don't spend too long going up and down aisles that you don't need to. So you can try to reduce the amount of physical effort involved in the shop if you do have to go. The other thing that can be difficult for people is that supermarkets can be quite loud. They can have bright lights, lots of things to look at, lots of signage, lots of things trying to draw your attention, and they can sometimes be crowded. And also there can be often quite large differences in temperature between one area to another. And with fatigue, sometimes your body can struggle to respond to that. If you're very sensitive to sensory input, it might make the shopping experience easier to reduce that sensory input. So that could be with things like slightly shaded glasses or wearing earplugs that block some of the noise out of what's going on. You can also use sensory kind of grounding or soothing techniques. So things like having a sensory item with you that you like to touch, or a smell that you like, or a gum that you can chew that kind of keeps your mind focused on the present moment. Some people also quite like to stimulate a pressure point to ground them and give them a bit of sensory input. So things like squeezing your earlobe or squeezing your hands together can really help to give you that pressure and that grounding that reminds you where you are and what you're doing and tries to kind of dampen some of the other sensory inputs. Might be also possible for you to shop at quieter times to reduce the kind of crowding and noise. So that's something you can consider when you look at your local supermarket. It's worth remembering that different things work for different people. So, don't be afraid to try out different approaches. It may not be right for you, but just because it's not the same thing that somebody else does doesn't mean it can't work for you. Some people think it's much easier to do a big shop every week or every 2 weeks and get it all over in one go. Whereas other people might prefer to pop out and get a few things every day or every other day. Or you might be somewhere in between those two. It depends a lot on your personal situation, how easy it is for you to get transport, how easy it is for you to pick things up and pack and unpack bags, and where the supermarket is, if it's close to you or if you work there or if it's on the way somewhere. That might mean that you shop in a different pattern to somebody else. So have a think about what might work for you, where the difficulties are, and if there's anything that you can change to make things a little bit easier for yourself.